got this feeling.
Hello, youth developer. Today we are outside Mustard Seed in the lovely patio chatting with Cheryl Parker. Yes, it's going to be 30 minutes of so much goodies. I met Cheryl at Denver, Colorado at the All Generations Family Conference, which was a blast, and my booth was right next to her.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Patty, for just inspiring me. It was so God that we were sitting side by side at this expo in September, and I really felt a connection with you. I just want to give kudos to you on the work that you're doing, because it is important for people who are working with youth especially to have the balance of just their own life and their own work. I know I've been impacted by mentors in my life who poured their heart into me, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for my 8th grade English teacher, who also did a lot of things in the community, having her own nonprofit working specifically with kids. I got to see the world with her, and so I just want to thank you for that, putting that into young people, because they're going to become adults one day and they're going to contribute to the world in an amazing way because of the impact that you're making. So thank you. I am so excited to just share my journey of really becoming an entrepreneur, and just this development of coming into confidence that I can be an entrepreneur and pursue the things that really mean a lot to me. I am an accountant by day. I do work as an accountant working for the government. And I did have this draw to just really helping others to connect and really taking care of other people's needs. And I'm not able to really fulfill that in my accounting position. And so there's always been this nudge in my heart to really help the people in my faith community to connect more. And I love when I see connections happening with people and when their resources are able to be shared with one another. One of the biggest ways that I want to do that is through helping people to connect when they're traveling and when they need a place to stay. And so I did that. There was something that came up in my heart 4 years ago. It was inspired by an article I read in a magazine, and then also a company that started to grow really big, which is called Airbnb. And I said, I really want to bring about a solution to a problem in my faith community, international faith community of over 100,000 people, that when they travel, they want to connect with each other. What started my dream or my desire to start a website called Come and Stay. And last year, I decided to start taking action into really making this come to fruition. Now, mind you, I'm still working my accounting day job, and the first thing that really I had to focus on was just my mindset and my mentality of just overcoming some doubts that I had and some disbeliefs that I had about whether or not I could really do this. I know you're shaking your head, Patty, that you can relate to that, right? I remember starting off this campaign to really bring awareness to this idea that I had, and really rallying other people around me that were very supportive and pushed me towards making it public, what I wanted to do, and going through some fundraising and some promoting, and really not getting the results that I had hoped for and had really put a lot of energy in. And it was a little over a year ago, and I just really felt discouraged and really felt sad that I hadn't gotten kind of the results that I had hoped to get, and kind of questioned if this is something that I should continue to pursue. And I recall just really crying and just really being sad, just feeling a sense of loneliness in a way, of not in my mindset thinking that I hadn't gotten the support that I would have desired to get from people who were close to me. Yes. and feeling as if I can't get their support and I can't sell them on this thing that's going to really even impact them and help them, how am I going to be able to influence and impact other people? And so one of the things that really helped me that I discovered is tapping. And tapping it's not new. It's something that's being more prevalent now, and people are finding out more about it. But it's emotional freedom technique, EFT, and it's like a mixture of acupressure and just therapy, talk therapy, honestly, that you're doing to yourself. And so I recall just learning about that and trying it out. And you're going through these steps of really acknowledging your negative thoughts. And as you're tapping, that's where tapping comes into play, different parts of your body. That it's been proven that by tapping this, you're relieving a stress, and it's allowing you to get out of that fight or flight mode where you're calming yourself down, you're relieving the stress of just talking through what really you're feeling about anxiety or being upset or being let down or anything like that. And then you cycle into start to talk about the truths, the things that are true, the things that are honest, the things that are real. So it's like the circle of just bringing you back to the truth.
Yeah.
And it has been so activating and so freeing for me. It has enhanced my prayer life, where I feel like I'm more real with God about how I'm really feeling about something, and acknowledging and accepting that it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel disappointed. But to be reminded of all the support that I do have, to be reminded of a vision that I have and the purpose for why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I think this can be applied to so many situations, not just in pursuing a dream or going into an uncharted territory of something that you're not familiar with or that's new to you, but it can be overcoming anxiety from flying or from speaking publicly or from having a serious talk with someone. There's so many different ways that EFT can be effective in people's lives. And for me, it's really transformed, just when I practice it on a consistent basis, it's transformed my thoughts into overcoming these limiting beliefs that really can paralyze me and keep me in a victim mentality of not moving forward in pursuit of that which I know is for me.
Yeah, it's like the reactive response versus a proactive response.
Right.
And I love that. And I think when you said that, I just remember Marie doing that in one of her last shows. Exactly.
Okay, exactly.
I had no idea. I
Exactly.
just connected that. Awesome.
Exactly. I think everyone should look it up. It's awesome. Yes. And so once I moved out of that space of overcoming some of my doubts and limiting beliefs in my mind, it was a matter of putting things in actionable steps and really prioritizing my schedule, setting boundaries around really putting time into my business, really setting priorities around just my interactions with people and my intentions and my projects and my goals. And, it was really helpful for me to get a business coach. I know that sometimes business coaches oftentimes are expensive, but it's well worth the investment. I think, it's something that you definitely have to interview and research and find someone who's a good match for you. But I think having someone that will help you along the way to put one step in front of the other in pursuit of what you're going towards is always beneficial. And I have an awesome business coach who helped me to not have judgment on myself. So a big thing, for me is that I can be very self-critical, and I can set out time to do something towards the business or some other goal that I have, and I can procrastinate, or I can find something else to do. Maybe I'm avoiding doing that, or maybe just something legitimately comes up. And I will beat myself up for not having done the thing that I set out to do and have not accomplished the thing I had to do. So my business coach was able to help me to not have judgment of myself, to have grace on myself, and to just really have a step back in my life and see, okay, what patterns I was running and what was beneficial and what wasn't. So for instance, she helped me to look at my schedule and say, well, Cheryl, when do you have your most productive time? And it was interesting because I never thought about that. Like, I go to my 9 to 5 and I never really thought about, I do my job. I never really thought about, well, this is when I'm like more focused and this is when I'm not. And so to really just like self-reflect on my life and my time, I was able to really determine when I was most productive. And then outside of that, I had to really come to terms with, okay, how much time can I really spend in my business? Like, be realistic. Don't set a goal of 20 hours when you know you can only do 10 hours in a week. Like, just be realistic about the things that are in your life, the things that are important to you that you are devoted to and that you put time into, and be okay with that. Just as long as there's forward movement, as long as you keep up the momentum, then the sky's the limit. You can do awesome things. It's about developing the habit of doing something versus having this big expanse of time that you put into. And another tool that was helpful for me was to have a schedule, like a template that really worked for me. And I am a follower of Donald Miller. He is the owner of a company called Story Brand, which is a marketing company, and his philosophy is to market your business through storytelling. And he, a couple of years ago, had these conferences called Storyline conferences. He no longer does that, but the conferences were to help people to develop the story around their life and understand that we are co-creators with God in our life, that things, just don't happen by happenstance, or that we are to be kind of passive bystanders, and, pray through things and then they happen. Like, we are co-creators with God. And I love that mindset. And so I have this productivity schedule, which I'll share the link with Patty so you guys can have, but it's a Storyline productivity schedule. And Donald did so much research on procrastination, on time management, on, just goal setting from different resources and different psychologists. And he created this template of a schedule, and I won't go through every detail, but one of the two things that really sticks out to me on this is that you have to write down each day, what would you, if you looked at tomorrow, what would you want to have had done today? And I think for me, that is on a heart level, like really looking at what person I would have wanted to call or visit with, or even habits, like what habit do I want to have developed if it's go to bed by 10 o'clock. So I know going to bed by 10 o'clock, I'll get up when I need to get up to be productive during my most productive time of the day, which is the morning. So like really thinking through those things of really what do I want to do today, that no matter what else on my schedule, on my to-do list is there, that these are things that from a heart level that I feel good about this day. And then another thing that's on there is really to write down one thing that, or several, but at least one thing that you're going to enjoy that day, that you're setting out to really have some enjoyment in your life. I think as someone who has a day job and someone who's pursuing a business on the side, I work a lot. I really work a lot, and I'm sure all of you work a lot. You're pouring a lot into those that you're in your lives, and you may have family, and you may have commitments with church or other organizations, and so it's very hard sometimes to feel the joy in life and really be intentional about daily having something that you enjoy in your life. So that's been important for me because it gives me something to look forward to, that I can say, wow, I put in my 3 hours today on my business, and I've made all these other, I've put through all this other obligations that I have or commitments that I have. I can now watch that football game. I'm a big sports fan. I can, go to this restaurant and have a nice steak dinner. Something that I am going to enjoy at the end of the day. I can have time with a friend that I haven't seen in a couple of months. Things that I can look forward to it's very important to define those and make them, put them down on paper so you make it happen. Yeah. One of the things that I've discovered, and my business coach helped me to figure this out, is that learning is very essential to me. Like I have to constantly be learning. So another shout out for youth developers, because you're typically educators. And so I love learning from other people, and I love learning new concepts and new things. Now that I've gotten over my limiting beliefs, and then I have worked out a schedule and really feel like I have some momentum. Another thing that I've realized is that I still sometimes have that tendency to not take action, inspired action, when I'm prompted to by something. And so one person I've been turned on to that I think everybody should check her out is Mel Robbins. And I love her because she's very to the point, but she's very loving, and she's very, just really honest, but in a very nurturing way that it just emanates in everything that she puts out. And so I really appreciate her 5-second rule, which is where whenever we have a thought, an inspired thought to do something or to say something or to reach out to someone, 9 times out of 10, we can talk ourselves out of that. I know I do this daily. Even with this interview, I didn't feel completely prepared to talk to you guys. And so I wanted to talk myself out of it. And yet everything that was surrounding me was saying, no, this is the perfect timing. You're never going to feel ready. That's kind of my little fault is I want to know that I'm ready and that I'm 100% sure and I'm prepared. And the honest answer is life doesn't work that way, that we're not going to be prepared, and it's okay. It's great, actually. It's living life to do things unsure, and it's having that faith in something unknown and something bigger than yourself. And so with the 5-second rule, you just start backwards, counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you have a thought, and within that 5 seconds, it's key to take action on that thought, or else you're going to lose it, and more than likely you're not going to act on it. And so this has been so helpful for me with inspired actions, whether it's a phone call that I needed to make, or whether it's a video that I needed to record for my followers, for my business, to just do it without hesitation, without thinking about it, right? Just go from the heart and just do it. And I think it can be life-changing. It can be saying something to someone who, you just inspired them or really touched them in a way that had you held on to that, it wouldn't have been possible. So understanding, constantly this cycle of just our thoughts and then our time and then our actions, it's a constant cycle of just really keeping that momentum to go towards that which you desire to see happen in your life. Yes.
And like the circle you made, because it's a dance.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's why I love the scripture, whatever is pure, whatever is our think of such things. Because God knew, Satan's going to get in there.
Right.
And he's got to reshift your focus.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. Overcoming your limiting beliefs is the first step, because you can't move, you can't take action if you talk to yourself in a defeating way, if you're paralyzed to make movement. Just sometimes we're tougher on ourselves than anyone else, and so it's key to really figure out what works for you in terms of how to come over, be aware of those limiting beliefs, and then to overcome them before you can move further. And then secondly is time management, just making sure that the things that are important to you are lining up in how you're using your time. The things that you want to accomplish, are you really putting the time and the effort into those is everything that you do filtering through your life vision for yourself. It's very key. And then number 3 is just move, like act, act, do that inspired action. I think every day, we have ideas, we have thoughts, we have positive things that come in our mind about someone that has impacted us. Call them, tell them, text them, show your appreciation for them.
Yeah. And
that's a step that all of these steps are a constant practice for me that I haven't arrived, but they're pillars of just this cycle of really living life and making an impact.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. And now it's your time for action. What is the one thing out of all 3 focuses and points that you are going to apply this season?
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul.
And I would, encourage you to look it up. But it's, I'm sorry, there's a bee on me, on your arm. See it? Yes.